Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to another live stream, hopefully, of Hearthstone. So, we were in the middle of an arena run, and my internet just crashed on everything. So, hopefully people can find their way back to this unfairly here. Tragic Master says, dang. That is true. It's like, this is completely unfair. I lose my connection. I lost that arena game to a disconnect. And see, that right there is a perfect example of why I don't give out a lot of details about myself. Is because the last thing I need is people to try to hunt me down and intentionally do a DDoS and mess up game progress that way. I'm not saying that's what happened here, almost certainly not. More than likely it was simply a case of the game screwed up and my internet screwed up. Everything screwed up. And so that was certainly not fun. Not fun at all. So that first video will just end abruptly, and when I re-release it as its own thing. And this will be the beginning of episode 2. Yeah, it's also a big problem because now this is potentially going to be a second stream on my channel, which with separate views and separate comments, which means any steam I was gaining by having more comments and views has been stolen from me via my terrible internet service provider. Speaking of things stolen from me, we might as well cover this issue. If you follow me on Twitter, you may have noticed that last night, in the middle of the night for me, I posted something to Total Biscuit and Jim Sterling, because those are the two people that I follow that sometimes cover these topics, and it was a picture of Nintendo of Japan claiming copyright on Ubisoft's E3 press conference, in that press conference Ubisoft showed Mario plus Rabbids Magic Kingdom, or whatever the name of that game is, which, by the way, is a Ubisoft game that is legally licensing the rights to the Nintendo characters. So, as far as things are concerned, as far as law works, it was fair use. You can't copyright a trailer. That's just not copyrightable at all. Advertisements, trailers aren't copyrightable. Even if you could copyright a trailer, it was Ubisoft's trailer, not Nintendo of Japan's trailer. And even if you could claim Ubisoft's trailer, only Ubisoft could do that. So I disputed this. I said, this is fair use. Stop this ridiculousness. And Nintendo of Japan just doesn't care. So when Jim Sterling came out and made his video that says there really is no reason why you shouldn't just steal from steal old Nintendo ROMs, because Nintendo steals from people on YouTube all the time. Here's more evidence of it. Clearly, they do not care about copyright when it doesn't benefit them. They only care about following the law when it does benefit them, which is true for most, if not all, corporations. That's a big exaggeration, certainly, but yeah, corporations don't care about the law unless it benefits them, and then they come crying and whining. But as soon as it doesn't benefit them, they'll do whatever they want. Kind of like the net neutrality thing is like, I can almost guarantee you that there are some internet service providers violating net neutrality laws that are in place right now, but they won't get caught with it, or they'll pay some small fine and still be able to keep the vast amount of profit that they could do. So yeah, I put that tweet out there if you want to see it. It is ridiculous. I suppose if I was funded enough, I could just say, tell Nintendo of Japan to sue me. Sadly, they very well might try it. They would have to have representation of a lawyer in the United States, and so it doesn't directly just become a Nintendo of America issue, but the whole thing is ridiculous.
What to do?
As for the other E3 things, most of those have either all been... I will say all of the E3 press conferences definitely had a lot of content IDs that came up immediately. And frankly, not that many views on the E3 coverage anyways. I'd probably, next year, we'll just try to cover it as is. But if there is anything Nintendo at all on there, I think I will take it completely off the screen. But then they still might try to claim the audio, so who knows. But I don't think any of the other E3 press conferences maintained a copyright ID. After I filled it out and said this is fair use, they said, you're right, this is fair use, we'll drop our claim. Nintendo of Japan is the first one, and probably is going to be the only one to act so despicable.
Wanna blow something up?
An incredible discovery.
I probably should have just played this. Honestly. Have 2 of these on the field while he's still at 30. Peter Molyneux's game, The Trail, is going to get a little bit of a redesign and come out as the Trail Frontier Challenge coming to Steam this summer. A decent amount of games have been announced this last 3 days of games that are coming out this summer or being pushed back to this summer. So we are, I would say, officially past the E3 hype train and onto the derailment in which they are going to push back games and try and not and try to get things to work. Alright, I suspect what's gonna go here is
I found it first.
I'm gonna get destroyed, so
Hoo-hoo, yeah, you got it.
let's do this and see. Explosive trap. So we'll play this and this and then return. So far, unless Peter Molyneux's redesigned version of The Trail is going to try to be super ambitious and add a ton of things, and he's going to try to hype it up, I think we might need to give a round of applause to Peter Molyneux for learning not to be such a BSer that he used to be, where he would just think up ideas and say they were in the game when they weren't, and then make his team have to find a way to add those elements to the game.
Job's done.
He took a very hard lesson there, but it seems like he's now just selling games for what they are, not hyping them up, and doing a decent job. Now, The Trail is a mobile game, and it's a decent mobile game. It's just kind of this RPG walking simulator where you're it's more hiking actually than, it's not a real walking simulator as much as you're actually hiking from point A to point B, and you're meeting with people, and sometimes you're upgrading your clothing in an RPG way.
Out of my jungle.
Let's see.
I must remain hidden to remain free.
There we go. Do I want to kill this guy? Trade his poison for poison.
I want answers.
I'm gonna go ahead and attack here because this guy will get more powerful. Walter says hi. Hi, Walter. So, since Peter Molyneux seems to have learned his lesson, I think I'll kind of want to check out his game now when it comes out on PC. Depending on what it costs, and probably not a high priority. I may get to it in a year or two, but it looked good enough to give it a try. Mario Kart is getting an official arcade first-person VR spin-off, but only in Japan, which, frankly, if arcade anything, is almost only in Japan. Well, it's certainly not in the United States anymore. We don't have many arcades left. Let's see. Spend all of your mana. I think I will do that.
Engaging TC-130 into dislocator.
There we go.
I want answers.
Now we've got it down. The idea that there might be a Mario Kart first-person VR version is an interesting one. There we go, we got a victory. Glad for that. To make up for being ripped off the other victory. Let's just keep moving. Speaking of VR, Oculus is building a standalone VR headset with a mobile phone guts for $200. This is an interesting and intriguing prospect. It certainly will get VR to be cheaper. How it's much different than Google's form or the Samsung VR where you just put a phone in it is questionable, honestly. And then the real question, I suppose, is the price of games and what games will really work on it. There's a slight danger that this $200 Oculus Rift VR thing may be so centered around using Facebook and only Facebook that it has no real use for normal people. If, for instance, it's only for Facebook Messenger so you could do VR phone calls, or if it's only for 360 video on Facebook, like, you're not gonna have enough content there. Or if it can only play, say a handful of really bad, really limited games, then it's not gonna work. Where did that other $400 go? What in the original Oculus that's $600 versus this new Oculus is missing? Let's see, what would I like to do? I'm gonna take this demon because I have a daily quest to play demons. Speaking of delays, Ni no Kuni 2 is delayed to 2018. They send their apologies, as any Japanese developer must do socially. It seems so soon from when that was announced to already be pushing it back. It just doesn't seem like that was the right move. Just gonna end the turn there. Yeah, why try to get that hype out? It's well, I bet Ni no Kuni was on the Sony E3 stage or pre-show, and Sony pressured them into releasing it and having a release date, and then they said, sure, we'll give you a release date, and then they just pushed it back. That's the only thing that would make any real sense. Oh, one of the things I wanted to mention about my new controller is I think it's probably a good idea for anybody with a controller to get the spring out of the inside of a pin, a clicker pin, and put it on the front connector, because there just seems like there's a lot of bend there, and the wires are even thinner on the Xbox One Connect cords than they were in on the 360. So just a little bit of support there to make sure you don't break it would be probably desirable.
It's time for a little blood.
I have it on my Audio-Technica AT-M50s, I think, headphones. Their connector has a spring like that, and I just saw that. Moving on, just kind of rambling at this point. Try to get victories, try not to lose, try not to lose my mind with the internet messing up. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Let's see, what can we do? Discover a spell, make it cheaper, or play stealth. 4 damage to everybody. I'll take this. And then this. And then this.
Out of my jungle.
And then we'll take that.
Who you want me killed?
And we'll do this.
Job's done.
And in return. Zero Time Dilemma is both out for PS4 and PC, and they somebody made a trailer comparing the PS4 version to the PC version, and the PC version looks a lot brighter and in some places possibly a little washed out, although there is a danger in a comparison like this that the PlayStation 4 might just be using that limited range of colors where things are just darker because the TVs literally can't go as bright as a computer monitor should be able to go. Maybe that's really not being an issue anymore for modern TVs, but it certainly was the case in the old day. There's also a difference on what you're expected to have as far as a setup. If you're, for instance, let's do this. If you're looking at a computer monitor, you're supposed to be in a pretty bright room, which means that monitor needs to be a little bit brighter. If you're watching a TV, typically you're expected to be in a relatively dim lit room, if not a completely darked out room, so the TVs aren't as bright, and that certainly is going to affect things too. That being said, I may find out that if I ever get around to playing Zero Time Dilemma on PC, I may find out that it does just look a little bit too bright. However, on most PC games, you can adjust the gamma, and I could certainly adjust the gamma outside of a regular game. Destroy a minion. And do this. There we go. What's the next one? If you are following me on Twitter, you may have seen that I also retweeted Jotun is free this weekend. Jotun, I believe, is how it's spelled. So go get that game for free. There's really no reason why you wouldn't want to get it for free, even if you never play it. It's still probably worth having. Let's see, what's the most... What's the most damage we can do here? Guess that's it. The reason Jotan is free is because there's a game called Sundered from the same company that's coming out July 2017, and so it was announced, and then the announcement of that. That is a trend I'd like to see continued and expanded upon, is video game companies going, look, our first game, we've made our money on that, let's try to see if we can get some advertisement for our second game. Let's give out more games for free. There's a lot of issues, certainly, with
Delicious spider.
Job's done.
there's a lot of issues of just games never being free on Steam or on digital. Also, games never really going on sale because of the same reason. And I'd like to see that stop being as much of an issue. I'd like to see more sales. I'd like to see more freebies given away. The problem partially is that when you do get a free game on Steam, it's usually some piece of junk game you're never going to want to play, instead of being something really interesting worth playing. And so for new people to PC gaming, there's a huge expense. You buy a video card, maybe you get 2, maybe 1, maybe no games with it, maybe you get 3 at most. I got The Witcher 3, for instance. But that was on top of spending like over $400 for a video card, plus probably another $600 for a PC. So just before you even start, your high-end or mid-entry level for PC gaming costs you $1,000, whereas if you got a console game, you would maybe get 2 or 3 games for much less of an amount.
TC-130 into dislocator.
Alright, here we go.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Job's done.
So here's the problem. If he has the exact same ice block as me, which he probably does, then I think I'm gonna lose here. There was a game called Dream Daddy that's been delayed. So Dream Daddy delayed. It was a dad dating simulator. Odd that we haven't seen a mom dating simulator, but I guess they're getting around to it. That looks like a game that would be a funny goof to play for me. It's just like, yeah, let's do a dating simulator where we're dating different guys. It's a weird perspective, certainly, to take if you think about it, that women would find men who can care for children as their primary descriptor attractive, but frankly there's some truth to that, I would guess. Whereas if you put the opposite, most people, I would say, automatically assume that women can care for kids, just by default. That every single woman on the planet can care for kids, just naturally. Where it's treated as an extra remarkable ability for guys. That probably says more about society than I want to cover in this episode, but it is something to think about. The real-time strategy game Tooth and Tail is going to launch September 12th for the PS4 and PC, which brings about a good question. Is 2017-2018 video game season, so basically after E3 to the next E3, is it going to be the year of the year of the mouse or the rodent, or the year of the the year of the pirate, because there's at least 3 mouse rodent games coming out next year, and at least 3 years of 3 games of pirate games. I imagine at the end of the day, the year of the pirate's gonna succeed more. Of course, this is just a joking explanation. That nobody's gonna officially name it the year of anything, but back when Tomb Raider came out, Giant Bomb said it was the year of the bow because there was a bunch of games with bows. Moving on, Blizzard has unveiled its first 7 Overwatch League teams and who owns them. So that seems like it's a real thing that's going to happen. I kind of have to wonder though, is this just folly? Like, is it because Blizzard has so much money? Because they're trying to do something with a popular championship style game, that they're just pouring money into making all of this like it's going to be the next NFL, like it's going to be the next NBA? Is this folly, or is this really going to work? Is this how you do games like Overwatch these days to make them succeed, or are they going to come back in a couple of years and say that this was a terrible mistake? Let's see. Don't want to play that. That was probably a waste of the coin. Nidhogg is coming out on PS4 on the 15th of August. And while it's not been confirmed, people are assuming it's coming out on PC that same day. Nidhogg 1 is a game I would like to play, but since it's other players only, in the sense that there's no single player, it's just co-op, or not even co-op, it's player versus player, PvP. I'll never get around to playing it. Here's an interesting story that I found. The Hollywood producer named Ole Songberg, S-A-O with a line through it, N-D-B-E-R-G. I imagine that would be translated to Sandberg, if he wasn't Swedish. But this producer, who is famous for having done The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, both the Swedish and the original and the English version, which, no, the Swedish was the original version, has partnered with a Danish indie company called Investigate North to make a game called Aporia Beyond the Valley, and that's A-P-O-R-I-A. So it seems like, in part, a Hollywood producer is helping a video game get made, but also in part he is doing something to help people who would probably have a little less influence because they're not Hollywood locals, if that makes sense.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Job's done.
The chat's pretty empty. Yeah, the chat would have gone, I bet, really far too today if it wasn't for that
I'm not ready.
that internet outage. Darn you, internet. See, that's the #1 problem with YouTube, is there are things that are just not in your control. Like, I can do everything perfectly and still lose. Right, deal 15 damage. Could I do that if it goes down to 4? No. When your opponent casts a spell, add a copy to your hand. Could I do this? Shoot 3 missiles that do 3 damage. I'm gonna take this. And then end the turn. Like, if my internet screws up, my channel suffers. If my computer breaks, my channel suffers. I guess that's true for anybody who works on a computer. Tragic Master, I'm waiting for the end of your arena run. Would you like to help you get the Pally spell quest done? Okay, good, Tragic. We'll do that. I think somebody else wanted to play me too, or was that Tragic that asked before? One of the things I've realized is we're gonna have to just, as soon as I end an arena run, it's just gonna be a race. Everybody needs, if they want to play me, needs to just send a friendly challenge as quickly as they can. I feel like that's probably the only way we can do this fairly. Let's see. I'm gonna try this. And then this. And then end the turn. Like, particularly, like once I start having hundreds and hundreds of people wanting to play me, I mean, it's already gotten really high to 2 or 3 people per stream wanting to play me, which is not unmanageable. But once there's 100 different people to play me, I'm gonna have to say, look, there's a timer on this. We'll play for 30 minutes. I'll play everybody once, and then that's it. But it's real helpful to figure out how those rules are going to happen before they become a real issue. Moving on with the news. We're almost done with the news too, so I can just focus on play. Kofi's back. Welcome back, Kofi. I'm back to you after the internet went out. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission in the United States, challenged the DraftKings FanDuel merger that they wanted to do, so they called it off. Now, that's not really too much about gaming unless you consider fantasy football gaming, video games. Kofi asked, are we still playing our game from the last stream? Yes, that's what I was just trying to find out myself, is if you were still here. I'll give you first play, but Tragic Master also wants to play, so we may just cycle between the two, or if more people want to play too. But you asked first, and I said yes, so I'm gonna stick to that. But I was just explaining, probably starting with next stream, in the next 3 days, it's gonna be just a race situation, first come, first serve. So as soon as people see me out in the menu, they need to just send me a friend request, and then we'll give everybody one play. Tragic Master says, no problem, I'll be patient. I have noticed that about all of my fans, is that people, when they stick around, they are very nice and very patient and very cordial, which is a lovely thing to have in a fan base. The last thing I need is a bunch of angry people as fans, or less thing I would hope to have. Moving on with the news, Her Story creator Sam Barlow, he is making a new game called Telling Lies, which, in all honesty, depending on how you interpret her story, that game was pretty much her telling lies too. So it seems a little bit too on the nose for a name, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if it changes. Oh, look, looks like I'm gonna lose here. Is he gonna win? Yep, lost. Random gamer, angry people, lol. Yeah, that's true. It's like, I cover video games. This should be lighthearted. This shouldn't be shouldn't be important stuff. It's like part of a tiny portion of the reason why I'm a video game critic and YouTube streamer is because I don't want to deal with the things that are important or that are going to infuriate people. Because I just want a nice, relaxing thing. And the most infuriating thing that should happen on my channel is I'm going to say I don't like some game that other people say they like. And hopefully I'll explain myself well enough so that they can see my perspective on that and not unsubscribe just because of that. Here's an interestingly phrased title that I took from an article. Struck by scammers, Itch.io eyes stronger safeguards for developers. That is a very, very twisted way to say people were found, at least one person was found, to be running a scam on Itch.io by selling stolen software. And Itch.io has responded to try to have stronger safeguards to not have scammers on their site. So they're saying we're helping our developers, which is true, but they're also trying to obfuscate or not mention that, oh yeah, our site has no real checks, so you can get stolen thing. It's like the Bethesda paid mods incident, all in a similar way. It's like, if you don't do that background search, if you're not doing the research with the people you work with to make sure they're not selling stolen goods, it looks bad on your storefront. And Steam has that issue too, and they're slowly getting forced into doing some more paperwork and doing some more research on people. Let's see, which one would I want? Probably this one, just because it's cheaper. YouTube has added a hover over 3 seconds on thumbnails, and it will show you a random trailer, a 3-second trailer of the video that is picked from the first half of the video based on who watches that section the most. So if there's, in the first half of a video, say somebody slips on a banana peel and people think that's funny and they watch it over and over again, that will be the 3 seconds that you see when you hover over it. This is only for people watching on the Chrome browser right now. I think Chrome and maybe just other PC browsers it works on, but it's not for the YouTube app, where I think nowadays most YouTube viewing is through the mobile app. So maybe that will come, maybe that won't. This is a scary change, as all changes are scary to YouTube, because what this potentially might do is it will definitely get rid of people who are clickbaiting on thumbnails. Like, they have a picture of some girl in a low-cut bikini or something like that, and then their video is nothing about that, which you should always report. Misleading titles, misleading thumbnails, and such, and get those channels banned. But for people that are actually making videos, it could lose people a few views in exchange for getting them longer watch time, which probably it won't even do that. I suppose it might get you longer average watch time. For the people that are watching, they may stay longer, but it will be at the expense of less people just clicking play. And as far as I see it, as far as YouTube seems to imply to me, it is views that have way more of an importance than anything else. So one more view, I would much right now prefer to have one more view and not let people click on hover and see a thing. even if they're going to leave after 3 seconds. Unless it turns out the people that hover over it are actually giving a view to me, even if it is only a 3-second view. Which, maybe that is the case, but I doubt it. Let's see. Deal 5 damage. Summon a random 5 minion.
Job done.
So, yeah, another change, potentially a bad change. Maybe not. Now, the 3-second trailer doesn't work on any of my videos. It works with other people's videos on YouTube, but for some reason it hasn't, the service that scans all of their videos hasn't gotten around to such a small channel as mine. Which, okay, why did they announce it as it was rolling out now then? I guess they probably had been testing it for a while. DR3 says random gaming hoist. What is that? I don't know what that means. DR3. We can do this. And can I taunt? Nope, I've lost. And then the Castlevania creator wants to make Metroid a Metroid anime style thing, like the Castlevania Netflix series. A lot of people saying they like the Castlevania Netflix series. Frankly, I don't think there's enough there to really say you like it, but it was good enough, but frankly it was just the setup of something that's gonna have to be bigger. DR3 equals vicious fledgling, reference to Dr. 7 aka Dr. Boom. Thank you for explaining, Gene. I did not get any of that. And there we have the 3 victory. So, still probably better than what I would have done without the Hearth Arena, but also proving that I shouldn't probably do an arena run every 3 days, because I am not going to get that 150 gold back. No, 25 gold. And so I got about 125 gold worth of stuff in a card that's not worth anything really. Maybe 5 or 20 dust. So unless we get a legendary here. Mahmood says hi. Hi Mahmood. Nope. So yeah, I'm gonna have to have a limiting factor on the arena runs. Good game, man. Good luck on rewards. Be right back making coffee snack time. That's okay. You don't have to announce you'll be right back if you don't want to. It's fine by me if you do more comments on my channel, but no, people aren't gonna realize that you're missing if you don't comment for a couple of minutes. So I guess I'm filling in the things. 5 dust says random random gaming hoist. That's exactly what it was. So we were gonna play somebody. Where are they? Where are we on the daily quests? We haven't played any paladin cards. We need to play demons, and I need to cast 8 more spells. And let me come over here and let's see. Here's definitely going to be an issue. Where's the mouse? Because people have different things. Kofi, where are you? Are you one of the European players? That's the question, because I think he might be. And that's not going to help me get the daily quest done here. Let's see. Like, now that we're switching between the two accounts, I guess I might get lucky and have 3 packs to open on the European account too, and I guess the same would be true for the Asian account. We'll see what happens when we get in here. Yes, so we can do more pack openings. Certainly. So I know, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I said we'll play Kofi. Except, I know Mahmoud wanted to play me for a long time, and he was on the European account too. I needed to look at the daily quest here too, because I am trying to get 700 dust for the European account so I can buy the adventure. I saw somebody talking about the next expansion, and unless I have gotten it totally wrong, they kept thinking that the next expansion was a solo adventure, and I'm like, no, it's not. They specifically said their Hearthstone deck tracker just crashed. Fine. They specifically said that they weren't going to have any solo adventures this year for the next 3 expansions. Random Gaming Hoist said ruined.
Job's done.
I did pretty bad in the arena run, but I don't know if that's what he's referencing or not. I really don't understand how to chat.
Do you need a lesson?
I'm gonna have to learn from my chat how to understand how people type in the chat, because a lot of people do just say things and it makes sense in their minds, but they don't give enough reference to what they're talking about, or they've seen things that I haven't seen, since I mostly just focus on video games. I know 2 people in the last stream asked me to watch other YouTube channels, and I checked them both out, and I tried to get through like 1 video of both of them, and neither one of them caught my attention long enough. That they both looked like they were fine, but I have such limited time and such limited interest. Oh yeah, I was ruined in the pack opening. Yep. Kofi just ruined my pack opening by sending me a friend request. That's fine, those cards are still there, I'm sure. It's the time delay that makes it confusing. Yes, the time delay sucks horrible, and I can't do anything about it. That's directly YouTube, and YouTube needs to get on the ball and have some way to fix it. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Is there some way I could add more delay and then that would fix the delay? No, not really. I know I can add more delay. That's not an issue, but it doesn't fix the delay. It just makes it worse. Maybe it's just my chat's really fast typers. Yeah. Let's turn a negative into a positive. Let's just say that everybody who's on chat is a super fast typer. Faster than YouTube can handle. So watch this. And then this.
Get behind me.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to add more delay, and there's no way I can reduce delay in the game. Like, there's plenty of options in OBS Studio to do that, to add delay, but unless I can bend space and time, and if I could bend space and time, I would probably be doing something else with my life. Alright, let's see. This, attack here. What am I trying to accomplish right now as we're playing? I'm kind of just playing. I'm trying to accomplish spells, and I'm playing as the shaman, which I probably shouldn't be playing as the shaman. Mostly trying to get him experience so he gets up to level 20. Let's see. I want to look here. Yeah, Mahmoud was last on 6 hours ago, so either he can't get to his PC or doesn't want to play right now. Now would be a good time if he did want to play, if he's still watching, because I know he's wanted to play me for months, and I had to put him off because I didn't have a European account through the initial setup until this point.
I'll take him out.
I would eat the same burger over and over again. Well, one would assume if you could manipulate time, it would be your entire body you were manipulating, so you might gain weight every time you eat the same burger. But it isn't a terrible way to go.
Yes.
I imagine my first thing, if I could manipulate time, would be to find a relatively good payout for a lottery, and then make some money that way to start with.
I'll take him out. I'll take him out.
There we go. Win. We'll play Hearthstone knowing everything about the opponent's deck and win. That would be nice too, certainly. So that worked. Kofi says good game. And that worked for the 2 daily quests too. So if we play a couple more games, Kofi, that gets the daily quest done. And then the other thing is I need victories to unlock the face, that hero character that they gave everybody the thing. What's the matter to manipulate time if it isn't going to stop you from aging? Yeah, that certainly is true. You would have to use it sparingly. So that does bring about a point. Like, as soon as you manipulate time, you make yourself the richest man in the world, and then you have to spend all of that money funding some kind of life increasing strategy, whether that's upload your brain to the internet or stem cell research to clone your body, a younger version of your body, or just health research in general to keep yourself alive.
Don't forget to tip your Torin.
This is an interesting conversation to have because I just finished playing Life is Strange, and that character in Life is Strange could manipulate time, and she really didn't do too much with it. After playing Life is Strange Season 1, I have learned that I actually wouldn't want time manipulation powers in any other game. When you think of like Quantum Break and its time manipulation powers, I would say BioShock kind of had BioShock Infinite kind of had reality manipulating abilities that were used very sparingly, but in general, Tragic Master comes back. Coffee. Particularly playing Life is Strange because it was like a Telltale game where there's a lot of dialogue and conversation. You ended up just going back and forth between the different options and different branches of conversation and wasting a lot of your time, which is kind of an interesting twist compared to playing The Secret of Monkey Island 2 now, which is a very old point-and-click adventure game that wastes your time by because it wastes your time in a completely different fashion, in the sense that it makes you walk through empty scenes and doesn't tell you where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing. This is not gonna work too well. Random Gaming Hoist says, yeah, time manipulation is kind of scary. Don't ever want a superpower like that. It's one of the few I would take, certainly. I would take it if it was offered. Maybe reading people's minds might be a little bit useful. Mahmood says we can play now, I think is what he meant to type. Yep, we can play now, Mahmood. I over E3 I went through all of the European intro setup stuff. My decks aren't great, they are just the very default basic decks, but we can play if you want to show off your deck. Right now I'm playing Kofi. Kofi, is there anything specific you want to show off, or are you just helping me get daily quests? Because I've just been playing so far to win, but if you want me to back off and let you show off some strategy or something, we can do that.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
The thing I need now is somebody who plays the Asian server and is online all the time, yet also speaks English well enough to follow along in the chat. Because I don't have anybody that's friended me on the Asia server. Kofi says he's just helping. There's Mahmood. Alright, so this will probably be our last game, Kofi, if that's okay. And see, this is how bad my deck is. He's helping me. He's helping me right into an early grave. But he gets more experience if he gets me down to 1. So there's an actual reason. Tragic Mahmood says hello. How is that working? That's not supposed to work. I'm supposed to be labeled busy. Let's see. Why am I not... Why does it say online? Here. People, I intentionally block people from doing that because I don't want somebody to... Let's see. Busy. It's not supposed to work, but apparently their software sucks. Because I want people to chat in the chat. Tragic Masters, things have been altered due to the butterfly park are appearing to people. I'm not sure what to think about it, but it's cool to look at even if it isn't real. Google Mandela effect. Mahmood, yes, we'll play as soon as I'm done with this game. As soon as I can figure out a way to do some damage. Here. or run out of cards.
Job done.
Busy doesn't do anything. You can't turn off messages. It was working on the main server. It certainly was working on the main server for a while there. Or maybe people were trolling me, because I know Loki was following, and let's see. Well, what does Kriperian do? Does he just... Well, he has his video right on top of that, so I guess that stops people from doing anything, any messages. Mahmoud says, okay, I'll write in the chat only. Please do. Like, I don't... It doesn't help my channel if people put things here. It doesn't help other people that are in the chat. And I've done as much as I can to help anyways, because I put the YouTube chat here. You can go offline on battle.net, but I don't know if it'll work. Yeah, if I go offline on battle.net, then I can't play Hearthstone. Last time I tried. Because then you're not connecting. You could go offline for single player games, certainly. But I suppose if it got to the point of being a real issue, I could put a colored square over this and just black out the background and then put the text on top of that. But try not to do that. Oops, I played that totally wrong. How many cards do I have? 15 cards. Yep. Yeah, I've heard about the Mandela effect. It's a funny thing to think about. It's just people misremembering things, and probably some remnants of news reporters reporting the wrong thing. Yeah, you can play Hearthstone while offline on battle.net. I do it often because the launcher takes CPU. I'll give that a try. See if that works. In what way that works. It's just kind of a lack of options that the game should be offering. Tragic Master says he does the same. Well, I certainly don't have a problem with CPU issues, although some games never run correctly regardless of how powerful your computer is.
I'm warning you, I'm unstable.
Kelfie, you do know I need to get victories here, right? Because I've got 14 cards left. Alright, charge. There we go. Finally. That was like 10 turns of struggling to get rid of all of his taunts. His deck's too good for me. Too good for a basic deck that you get by default. And surely he could have won 100 different ways by now. I suppose if the Mandela effect was somehow proven to be true, then we, at that point, then we probably would at that point have to just admit that we have evidence that this universe is some kind of simulation or not real at all at that point. Or that we have literally no understanding of how time and space works. Let's see, Tragic Master says, instead of hitting play, hit the settings sprocket at the top right. There you can set the launcher to shut itself down upon hitting play. Am I next? I will get you the spells and Pally if you want. Yes, I guess Tragic Master is next. Well, we need to go in order of how it goes. So I'll switch back after this game to the Americas server, and then I'll switch back after I play Tragic Master to the European server and play Mahmoud. We are sort of running low on time now, though, so let's try not to drag the games out to the final card. Mahmoud says I am next. Mahmoud, can you wait, because I had already told Tragic Master before you got on, but I will play certainly. But if somebody has a scheduling thing, maybe we can swap if everybody's amenable to that. See, this is definitely why I'm gonna have to just adopt a first come first serve thing, and that's gonna certainly keep me probably on the America server more often than not. If people's Mahmoud says he can wait. Good, thank you. Because here, with only 3 people wanting to play me, it's already getting hard. Tragic Master, no, he's not on North America, he's on European, which is where I am on what I'm on right now. Well, with the exception of getting a victory, I'll have played all the spell cards. I have 7 cards remaining. Maybe I'll just fatigue them into a victory. That might work.
Pay attention, class.
Get behind me.
I'm almost out of cards.
So 5 turns more? 6 turns more? I'll get a victory. But at that point I would have drawn 1 damage too. And so I will lose. I'm right on the path of losing, actually. Like, unless I can do a couple of things. Tragic Master says, okay, you guys play if you're EU already. It'll be easier. Thank you, Tragic Master. Alright. Since he said that, I'll play Mahmoud next.
I'm out of cards.
This is going to be interesting because I only have 5 cards. And I don't think at this rate I'm going to win. I think I need him to hit himself in the face with the fireball a couple times. Like, I don't think I'm gonna get a 6 that kills this and then have enough to do that little bit of damage.
Handle it! Handle it!
Mirror entity. Four more turns before I lose.
Tadingo!
And see, this one doesn't heal this one. 3 more turns. So, I think it will maybe just barely win. Just barely. Because if he takes... If he takes 3 next turn and 4 next turn, that might work. Yeah, that's gonna get it. Unless, of course, he decides to win right now.
I bring life.
Aw. Well, now I'm doomed.
Almost out of cards. What you want?
Job's done.
One more turn. Let's see, I could do 5 damage to him next turn if nothing changes. And he'll take, I think, maybe 6 damage? Is he running the numbers that close? Obviously not. Mom, low. Yeah, I'm getting trolled here. I'm getting trolled. Like. Fair enough. Fair enough. I've lost. Unless he's got a heal spell that can heal me.
I am ready to learn.
Or you can just... We can just tie. But ties don't count as victories. While that did give me a decent amount of experience, it didn't get the daily quests. Kofi goes, oops. Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and trade this while I can. I should have done this before. Alright. So I need 6 victories at some point in standard play. Oh, so you have to play standard, which... Let's see, can I play Mahmoud in standard? Do you have any standard decks? Or does it have to be wild? And then back to the Shaman. Well, thanks for playing me anyways, Kofi. Even if your strategy didn't quite play the way I would have liked it. I didn't mean to do that.
The light shall bring victory.
For Doomhammer.
Let's see. Alright, so Mahmoud, do you have a specific strategy that you want me to show off, or are you just going to help me get victories? I'm loading that statement by giving him only 2 options. He may just want me to play normally against him, but frankly, if I play normally against him, which I'll try to do, he's almost guaranteed a victory at that point because my cards are just the basic brand new cards. That being said, it does seem like you could very easily make a bad deck that's worse than the default deck that you get when you just first start playing Hearthstone. But 2 and 2. I don't want to do that yet. So instead, let's do this. People spectating. What's going on, internet? Oh, shoot. Don't tell me I lost the internet connection again. What is going on? Come on, internet. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. It's a bad day for the internet.
What to do?
Take a moment, since this is still recording, to drink a drink, I suppose. Well,